Hello, Las Vegas. This is Rolando Larraz on Face the Tribune. Remember, if you are not a corrupted politician, if you are not a crooked public official, you can face the Tribune. Otherwise, the Tribune is going to face you. My co-host, Chris Garcia, is running a little late, always. He drives very careful. And as I've been promising you, with me today is County Commissioner Larry Brown, which is one of my favor, if it's not the favor. I don't want to ever say the favor, because something can happen in politics, and then it will not be. And but Larry has been a friend of mine, and I don't want to insult him by calling me a friend, but since he was the city council in Ward 2, right?
Ward 4.
4. Oh, okay. And now he is the county commissioner. He's running for re-election for the third time, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
Normally I'm never wrong, but it could be the first time. And let's start with what is the area of your county commission?
Thank you, Rolando, and thanks for having me. County Commission District C is primarily the northwest part of the valley. My official boundaries are Charleston Boulevard on the south, which comes down pretty much, it runs along Alta a little bit further east, hits Decatur on the east side is my boundary. I head north where I run into Rancho and the 95 all the way out to Indian Springs. I have Indian Springs, Cold Creek, Calico Basin, Mount Charleston is my rural areas I represent. But that area, you have...
So you're in the area where Tom Collins lives?
He is east of the 95. I have everything west of the 95. And now Commissioner Kirkpatrick serves in Commission District B. But C is pretty much the northwest, going out along the 95 and Buffalo and Durango and parts of Summerlin, Sun City, Summerlin, Desert Shores, Painted Desert. Those are all District C.
Larry, what makes you go into politics? I like people to know a little bit about you before we go into the county business. I want people to know, if they live in your district, what good is to vote for you.
Well, part of it, a large part of the reason I got into politics was literally I got involved in some issues out in the Northwest. We had just bought our new house. All the kids, the 3 kids, were very young. I think they were 2, 4, and 6, or 2, 5, and 6. And I was concerned that we had the oldest roads, we had no parks, and I went down to the city and talked to the folks, and they said...
I know, but no, wait a minute. Before you go that far, I wanted to know how you went from a baseball pitcher, baseball pitcher to a city councilor. That was your first job, city councilman?
No.
As a politician?
No. Yeah, I'll give you the quick background.
Right.
Well, I'll give you the 90-second biography.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Boston, outside Boston. My dad was the local pediatrician. I have 5 brothers and 2 sisters. I went through high school. Went to Harvard University. Graduated from Harvard with a degree in government. After college, I signed a professional baseball contract. My lifelong boyhood dream was to become a professional baseball player. And
You're not Cuban?
Not Cuban, no. So I went from rookie ball to A ball to Double A and Triple A, which is the last stop before the big leagues, and I came here to Las Vegas. In 1983 and 84, I played for the Las Vegas Stars, which at the time was the Triple A affiliate of the San Diego Padres.
Oh.
I had stopped playing after 84, and my wife and I, we had just got married the year before. We wanted to stay in Las Vegas for an extended honeymoon. How about that? An extended honeymoon that now has lasted 33 years and 3 children.
Wow.
So after baseball, I know I'm going past my 90 seconds, but baseball, I went to work at the City of Las Vegas in their economic development office. I went to work for Nevada Beverage Company, which is the Anheuser-Busch wholesaler, for a couple years. Then I got to the Las Vegas Valley Water District, and I thought that was going to be my career. I had spent 7 years at the Water District when, back to the story, I felt that I needed to get more involved with what was happening in my neighborhood in the Northwest. And I said the only way I can really make a difference is run for election and become a city councilman. And trying to make a difference is what got me involved in the first place.
Who was the mayor? Jan Jones?
When I first got in, it was Jan Jones.
Yeah.
And then Oscar B. Goodman. Spent...
Oscar B. Good?
Oscar B. Good. I spent 10 years with Oscar, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I had to teach him everything.
That's true.
I had to make sure. Well, keeping him out of trouble was difficult at times.
Very difficult. I remember.
I didn't say to say whatever he wanted to say whenever he wanted to say it, but it was a great experience.
And people are not used to that. Look at all the trouble that Donald Trump has now for speaking his mind. You know, can't do that. People don't like politicians to be honest. They don't want politicians to be open, speak their mind. You know, so you was in the city council when Oscar was trying to get that Gene prison to put the homeless in there, right?
He wanted to do that.
And was you against that, or I thought it was a good idea?
It was a good idea, but it was not a realistic idea.
Why?
Because of the relationship with the city and the state and the responsibilities. I mean, for us to take over and...
It wasn't going to be a prison, right? It was going to be like a motel, currently. That's the way I took it.
His idea was to put the homeless in there where we could provide them the services they needed and everything. But the thing that we often forget, it sounds good, but who's going to pay for it? Because at the time, that was closed.
Yeah.
To open that up, the state wasn't going to pay for it.
No, of course not.
And the city couldn't afford it, and the county certainly wasn't going to pay for it. So that's why it was a wonderful idea that didn't go anywhere. But I don't blame Oscar for coming.
Well,
he came up with a lot of good ideas.
If the county can't raise taxes for the stadium, why can't the city raise taxes for the homeless?
You could. That's an option. Now, remember, we didn't raise. In fact, when I was at the city, and since I've been on the county commission, we've never raised the people's property tax. They're the bread and butter. The stadium's being paid out of room tax. Now, there's a big difference. Although it's a tax, it's a public tax, but the room tax was created so we could utilize that money to reinvest in conventions and tourism and entertainment, and some of that money now has gone to the school district and others. But the bottom line, those room taxes were supported by the entire gaming industry and convention industry and tourism industry, and that's why it's being reinvested there.
Larry, I was going to talk about the stadium a little bit more so you don't walk away from me, but I made a mistake to mention the room tax, and I tell you, in the old days, I've been here way longer than you have. The hotels wanted to do something they paid for. So why is now we have to be paying for toys for Steve Wynn and Jan Jones? And I know she was your mayor. I know she's your friend. I know she's a nice person. I like her. I like her better than I like her ex-husband. But why do we need to raise the room tax? What about the people that live in Weeklies? they're going to have to pay more money now to be in the weekly. And some of the people that we was talking in John's office before the show, some of those people that are not homeless, but they have to live in a weekly place because they can afford the deposit and to get the power bill in their name, to put the water maybe. I don't know if the water has to be paid. I know I pay water, but I live in a house. But what about those people that are local, they live here, work here, and they're going to be paying more money for that weekly room now, don't they?
Yeah, certainly a small percentage, but it's within the resort corridor, so it would be depend where they are. But back to your first point, Rolando, because it's a big one. The convention center was the priority, the expansion of the convention center. And that is needed because to compete with the Orlandos and Chicagos and New Yorks that have invested hundreds of millions of dollars, our convention center was getting old. That was the primary focus of moving forward with this room tax. And that's a $1.4 billion investment.
Yeah, but do you know, I don't know if you're aware of that, when they built the convention center, the hotels used to pay for the convention center?
Through their room tax.
No, the hotels used to maintain that. Do you know that? Why can they do?
Believe you, because somewhere along the
way. Well, I can be wrong.
No. I don't doubt that. But the point with the convention center is to
Chris, this is a three-way conversation. Open your mouth.
And the other piece of it is, gaming has reached a point where we may see World Resorts come online. We may see Elan come online. Maybe something will be done with the Fontainebleau. But beyond that, the gaming industry is not going to expand their casinos and traditional gaming operations. So we're reaching a point where they're investing so much money now in entertainment and mobility in and around the Strip and downtown area. The dynamic of the gaming industry has changed dramatically, but it will continue to be, for the rest of our lifetime, the engine that drives the train. Henceforth, the convention center and the tourism. Now, the other piece of this is we have to start aggressively, and we have been for the last few years, looking for economic diversification. I've heard that term used for 20 years. But only in the last few years are you starting to see companies here that are not directly gaming related. You have Switch, one of the most advanced technological firms in the world, home base here. The announcement of Faraday, Tesla up north. You see all this investment in non-gaming businesses, and the reason we need that is the reason it makes an economy and a community strong, and that's jobs. So between the convention center and the football stadium, you're talking about increased tourism for sure, but you're talking construction alone, 15 to 20,000 jobs or more will be created over the next 4 or 5 years, and then the permanent jobs. So this is all part of a bigger economic development plan. It's going to increase tourism. Absolutely. The room tax, you can criticize the room tax for being used, but we talked earlier, Rolando, that shrinking dollar to pay for homeless, police, fire, social services, UMC, you could go on and on with the needs of government, but that shrinking dollar that we collect, the government, county collects from you and our citizens, that's limited. The room tax is a different pot of money. And the only way a convention center would get expanded or a professional football team would come, even Faraday receives some state money, significant state money. But the room tax is the best option to push that economic.
So can we raise the tax so Las Vegas Tribune can survive?
You can. This is what you need to do. You need to go to the county commission and get 4 votes. That's all
4
it takes.
votes.
4 votes.
I'm lucky if I can get 2 votes. Larry Brown and Chris Giuliani. You know, Larry Weekly will never vote to do anything for the Tribune, and neither, I don't think Steve either will do anything.
What did you do?
I don't know.
Did you get in trouble with the commissioners?
I don't know. I haven't done anything.
Now you can weigh in.
You know, but anyway, my point, let me see if I can make you understand my poor English. My point is very simple. Circus. They opened in 1969, then 67 I think it was. In 1969 they want to build Caesar's Palace. They didn't go raising the room tax to build Caesar's Palace. They built it with their own money. And that's my point. If Adelson can come out with 600 million, why cannot Caesars and Wind? Why would we need, and this is what I really would like, and if I'm getting out of line, please stop me, because, you know, the last thing I ever do is to put my guest in the hot seat. But what I'm saying is, if Adelson can do that, he can put his money where his mouth is. Why can Caesars and Wynn can do the same thing?
It's a good question.
Well, you guys
they certainly have the wherewithal to do it.
Do what?
They have the ability to pay for everything.
Of course.
In this case, the room tax, which we'll call it a public tax because it is, the vast majority targeting tourism, is part of what most success stories are engaged with, and that's public and private partnerships. And this certainly is a public-private partnership. It's going to be a public stadium. Ideally, we get an NFL team, and concerts and soccer matches and...
Oh, that's another person that put money in there. The owner, Mike Davis, right?
Yeah.
He put money. How many million he put in?
Between the scenario is the Raiders and the NFL will contribute $500 million.
Okay, and Adelson is contributing 600 million, right?
Yes, 650. Don't know the exact number.
Yeah,
you're right.
but something around, you know. So why John Jones? Well, forget about John Jones. Caesar's Palace and Steve Wynn Resort can do the same thing. You don't need to hurt the tourists that come over here. Remember, in the old days, rooms used to be $29 or $49, $100 was a suite, you know. But now a room costs you $140. Why raise that? What is it? 7% tax? 8%? What is it?
I don't know exactly.
I don't remember exactly. But, you know, you get the Las Vegas Tribune, you get it twice in the county and in your personal. I saw that, you know. You're the only county commissioner that contributed to Las Vegas Tribune. And read the article that we put in the front page this week. I don't know if you read it already or not, but...
You held off till today, right? It didn't...
Yeah, it's out today. And how do you know? Oh, they sent a note, right? Yeah. Okay, so my point is, I know it's easy, I know it's fast to jump into whatever I forgot what the raise was, but I think it's about 7 or 8%. 88 cents, I think it was going to be added to the tax, something like that. I read the article, and I don't see why Remember when Steve Wynn, he contributed to your campaign? I want to make sure that I don't say nothing.
Here, let me, because this is only an hour show. We'll talk about this for 3 hours. Let me say this, that you could certainly say that the gaming industry and tourism should pay for not only a stadium, a convention center, they should pay for a light rail system, they should pay for the roads and the sidewalks, they should pay for everything. But
why?
well, that's your argument is...
No, not really. Really.
The reason I would support what the state legislature passed is it does two things. It creates jobs. And this market, more than any place in the country, was hit hardest during the recession. We need to create good jobs.
Yeah.
And then secondly, we need to diversify the economy. And a stadium of that, and it's not just for the NFL, if they come. It's for all the other...
Wait a minute. What do you mean if they come?
Because nothing's certain until...
There's a problem with... because, you know, the baseball team and the football teams are famous for going to a city and pretend that they're going to go there until they get a better offer from somebody else. But, you know, that was my...
I'm going to jump in and change the subject here because this is... We're 45 minutes into the show, and the issues, Rolando, the issues you raised are valid. But the reasoning that this was passed and the governor signed it is jobs and diversification on the stadium side, convention, tourism business on the LBCVA side, and didn't get a lot of publicity, but we also got enabling legislation for more police officers in the street.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. That, you know, we give them a raise. Last week.
Let's go on to the next subject. How about that? It's your show, but we're gonna move on.
But let me finish. Let me finish because I don't want to be the bad guy. Okay, I understand that it's job. That was my point when people was criticizing Oscar Goodman for building the city hall. You know, Oscar Goodman put a lot of people to work while they was building city hall. And Las Vegas is a well-known, famous city that needed a better city hall than that rinky-dinky thing that we had over there. And not even Tony Shea wanted, you know. I mean, I'm not having any argument with that. My point is, I went back to 2014, I think it was. Steve Wynn wanted to raise the salary for the foremen or the pit bosses, and what did he do? He take the tip from the dealers, and he went all the way to Carson City, and the Justice Court approve it when there's a law. Read the Tribune this week because the law is right there. I don't remember the law right now. That's my point. I don't mind cooperating, but when somebody has more money than you guys have, why blame it on the tourists that come over here? Sometimes people come over and pay $1,000 for a sweep, but there's other people that want to come over here and put $20 in the slot machine and go to the buffet and enjoy. You know, why punish those people?
How about you're talking about here what we do at the county? Invest in our roads, police, fire, parks, social services, UNC, airport. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what the county commission controls, what I can influence on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Before we jump into that, I want to give people an opportunity, if you'd like to call in and ask any questions and join our conversation here. You can call 702-983-0711, 702-983-0711, and one of the sponsors here.
711.
One of the sponsors here is Mailed by Renee. You can get a fabulous downtown address for $10 a month. You can call 702-626-0716, 702-626-0716, and come see Cian, and you'll have a fabulous downtown address. And I would like to give this gentleman the opportunity if you would like to tell people again your name and the position you're running for, and if people would like to call in and talk to you or contribute to your campaign. Go ahead.
Again, my name is Larry Brown. I am a candidate for re-election in Clark County Commission District C, which is primarily the northwest part of the valley. You can, as far as the campaign, the safest way to get additional information is my website, which is www.larrybrown2016.com.
And I tell you, I vouch that he will respond to all the emails, because since I know him,
you're a Republican, right?
No. Don't insult my friend now. Don't insult my friend. Okay? The county commission is all Democrats. From one end to the other one.
That's why I haven't jumped in.
Sex, color, and I don't know. I don't think it's any more even group the people than the county commissioner.
But he seems like a fine gentleman, and
He
we need
is-
common sense people in office. It doesn't matter the party. So
I tell you, I don't have any problem saying publicly, and who knows who's going to listen to this show next week or next month. I am very proud to know Larry Brown. I have a lot of respect for him. I think he is one of the finest public servants, and this has come from my heart.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, otherwise you will not be sitting over here. You know, look, I invited Steve Siseloff, that I consider a friend, and he turned me down. He can go to Steve Sampson's radio show, but he cannot come to Rolando's show. You know, maybe he don't like my accent. And I have a lot of respect for Steve. We go to the same church and everything. You know, we see each other in church and we say hello. And he's a good guy. I like Steve. I think you guys have a pretty good group of people there now.
It's been a good group, the last few years especially. Our newest member, Marilyn Kirkpatrick,
I don't know her.
when Commissioner Tom Collins resigned a year and a couple months now, Marilyn, who was the Speaker of the Assembly and just a wonderful legislative career, was appointed to the commission, and she's up for election in a couple weeks, along with Mr. Sisolak and Mr. Weekly. But she's
Who?
Lawrence Weekly and
I
Steve
don't know.
Sisolak.
Do I know him?
we don't want to go there.
towards Commissioner Kirkpatrick, she has been a wonderful addition to the commission, because she and I've worked with many tremendous people from the elected level through the staff level, but she is one of the hardest workers that I've ever
I hear that.
seen.
I hear that. Yeah.
She is just putting in all sorts of hours and really come on board. And I think the commission right now is in a good place. We're moving together as a commission on most issues.
How does it feel to be the minority? You got 4 women in that chair.
We do. Well, thanks for bringing that to me.
Oh my God, that's not fair.
I hope they're treating me equally.
That's not fair. We need to have another county commissioner, then it has to be a male, and then it's 4-4.
That's right.
You know?
What is the direction you see the city moving in? Because I've been here for 25 years and 26 years now. And like you said, for years, they've always talked about diversify. I also have an economics degree, and I come from Chicago, and I come from a city where, you know, we have so many different industries, and it's always been one industry here. And they've always talked about diversifying, and I do see them moving it in that direction. Do you know of any future plans to continue to diversify and bring different jobs and industries here?
Yeah, and it's a great question. And Rolanda and I had spoken earlier. Gaming was king, and it will remain the engine that drives this state for many years to come. But all sorts of gaming is available in 48 states now, online, internationally. So that is not what the gaming industry is about.
That's true.
The gaming industry is now about entertainment and experience and bringing people back, up over 42 million visitors. That's critically important, but that will not sustain this community. And if we are truly going to grow into a major metropolitan area with all the opportunity for jobs and quality of life and schools and everything, we need to broaden that base. And what we've seen just in the last few years, again, I have to mention Switch because it's one of the best kept secrets. Switch literally...
Who is Switch?
Switch is the cloud. When this radio station, everybody is... It's here. I mean, they've created high-paying jobs. That started this technology movement. It was part of the reason Tony Hsieh came down and invested. But now we have all these things happening. The industrial sector is starting to improve. Residential home builders starting to pick up the pace. The Faraday out at Apex, the Hyperloop. These things are all, it's a domino effect. When you have real investment, a real company, and that starts rolling at the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, used to be the Nevada Development Authority.
Yes.
They've changed their name, and their focus has been reaching out and bringing new businesses and retaining existing businesses here. They've done a phenomenal job, and you can feel the momentum. Now we're starting to talk about major investment in potentially light rail or extending the monorail. And it's
Is the monorail still working?
Stop. But to your point, here's where I think the momentum's coming from. In the past, we've always relied on the gaming industry to save the state, to pay for everything. We don't do that anymore. All these pieces of that economic diversification puzzle are falling into place. Tesla up in Reno, doesn't directly help us, but as a state,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And when a Faraday and a Tesla and a Hyperloop and a Switch and a potential super speed train to California, all these people focus the attention. The debates last night, they're talking about over $100 million in Las Vegas marketing.
Are they going to tell us what do we do when we get to Victorville at the end of the train?
That's somewhere down the road, but they're talking about it. So, but to your point, to have a sustainable community, we have to make sure we utilize technology, public-private sector partnerships, and most importantly, create those jobs that bring new businesses, new families, strengthen the education system. It's all a puzzle.
You're absolutely right. My fear is this. What we're talking about is the city is going through a transition, and what I've seen, I've lived downtown maybe 20 of the 25 years I've been here. We are going to have so many residents that are left behind, and because they came here, and I think the city was one way, and it's now changing. It's becoming a technical city.
Yeah, but remember, I don't know, because a lot of people don't realize that the city is one entity and the county is another entity.
Right.
The county started on Sahara Avenue.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize.
Right.
It happened to me when I first got here, And
I'm worried about our education system. I really am. I hope they invest in much in education, because these are going to be high-paying technical jobs. And I don't think that a lot of the people that are living here have been trained or educated to do those jobs. So what do you think have they planned for that or talked about that, the investment in education?
You're right on. And you're right on for the primary reason is when any company comes to town, the first thing they look at is the educational system. From K through 12, your community college programs, your university system. And we're moving, again, in the right direction, but funding education is underfunded in Nevada. That has to be addressed, or the future sustainability, we may never get there. But it's, as far as the transition, absolutely. And anybody that thinks the world's not changing quickly needs to
it is changing.
They need to wake up and read the Tribune. Because it is, I'll tell you what, even in my short window here, I've seen change happen, and technology has driven most of that change, but it's affecting not only our workforce, but our education system, our government, our police, our convention. Technology is just sweeping through, and if people look at Las Vegas potentially to relocate and don't see that workforce.
And I tell you, it surprised me when I see the county, and when I said the county, I said the county commissioner, because the county commissioner is being very, or the county in general, is being very, very conservative when it comes to money. Like, for example, Metro has 19 public information offices. The city has what, 7 or 8? Something like that. The county is bigger, the both of them put together, and they only got 3. Why do you need more than that? You know, it's wasting money is not one thing the county like to do.
Rolando, I appreciate that because literally you can go back 25 years and the county has always been extremely conservative.
Very much so, yeah.
The budgeting every year. And it certainly paid off. You know, 25 years ago, if people said, well, why are we being so conservative? Well, when we hit that recession, we were able to survive because of our stability and our bond rating, which is basically what judges the fiscal evaluation of any municipality or county government. Our bond rating wasn't even affected. It is still the strongest, if not the top 1 or 2 strongest bond-rated agencies in the state.
And I tell you,
because of that fiscal approach.
And yeah, I believe that is a plus for you guys. Same way than it is with the business license. I don't remember who handled the business license now, who is the boss of the business license. But I tell you one thing, mama and papa operations don't need to go through a lot of expenses to open a business. In the city, you have to get a state license before. I used to be in the county. I used to be on Flamingo Road, and I think, who was my county commissioner? I think it was Chris. Flamingo and Marin Parkway. I think it was Chris. You know, I went there, I opened the mailboxes that you just bought it from me, and I didn't have any problem. I didn't have any problem with that. Now the city force you to have a state license. In my times where I was doing stuff like that, a state license was mostly for privileged licensed business, bell busman, liquor, bars, all that stuff. I didn't have to. I went there, I paid for my county license, and that was it. You know, the city make it more difficult. And I know I don't want to put you in any spot again because you have to get along with the city. But the city is not helping.
My seat's still cool right now. It's still cool. It's not warming up yet.
You know,
but
look at the parking meters.
You know, you bring up a point that I should have brought up earlier. We talk about a stadium and a convention center and Switch and Faraday and all these mega corporations coming in, Hyperloop. But just as important, if not more important, is as we create jobs and that economic climate that people want to come here, it's the small businesses. It's the mom and pops and the half a dozen employees that are going to work at this new store. Those make up the vast majority of the business community, and we cannot ignore that.
I noticed,
that's why
let me tell you,
allowing a small business to come through the system efficiently and cost effectively, critically important to that puzzle that we're
Yesterday I went to Mariana's Market on Sahara, and I think it's Valley View. Okay, I went to buy Cuban coffee over there, and they have a little store, dress store. They sell dresses, they sell jeans. Mainly, I think it's women. They got 3 people working in that little tiny store. Then it's not bigger than this room. 3 people working.
That's a good sign.
You know, I mean, this is something that the city doesn't want to understand. A small business can be more helpful to the growing of the community. You know, I'm not saying growing of the city. The city can manage with the casinos in downtown and the big corporate, Denny's, Walmart, all that. I'm talking about little businesses, like your business,
That's what you can gauge.
And you can even get an application for a business license in the city if you don't have the license from the state. I think it's crazy, Larry. It's crazy. And you know, when I got Carolyn Goodman over here, she is the mayor. I asked her about that. She said, well, that's the price you have to pay for being in Las Vegas. I don't think it's the right answer, you know. I really don't think, and you know I love the Goodmans, but I think fair is fair. I think the people don't need to pay that $300-400 because it's a flat rate.
Yeah.
It's not even what you make.
Right.
It's a flat rate, 400. I think it is now. They went up. You know.
That's tough when a small business is getting started. 450.
450.
Wow.
Okay, so thank you. So I guess you did that. I guess you did that. Anyway, say your website again, so people need to know. People need to keep you in that position, Larry.
Yes.
What can I do to help you to stay? Well, you don't need my help.
For those that want more information on me and my campaign, www.larrybrown2016, that's larrybrown2016.com.
Capital letters in the L and the B, or no, all
doesn't
together?
matter, you bet. One time. And
good.
There's opportunities to contact me via the website, or anytime you need help as far as the county, but certainly District C in particular, you can always reach me at the office.
And you know I'm a staunch Republican, but this gentleman makes a lot of sense, and he's extremely intelligent. So I always urge people, there's nothing wrong with being particular to your party, but if you find a candidate from another party who you think would do a good job, you should vote for that person.
He is a county commissioner. He is not one party or the other one. He don't care. He look at everybody as his constituent, and that's why I have so much respect for Larry Brown. Believe me, people, those people who know me, they know I'm not a hypocrite. I tell you the things the way I feel they are, you know, and some people don't like me to be that way, but
and I do whatever you tell me to do. So
okay, good.
I don't believe that.
I'm honored.
I don't believe
I'm
that.
honored.
But you know, the good thing, and you bring up a good point, at the local level, partisan politics very rarely comes into play. 'Cause what do we deal with at the local level? We're the final stop for public safety, your police and your fire, public infrastructure, your roads, your sidewalks, your parks, social services, UMC. It doesn't matter what party you are. These are things that local government at the county and the city level, that's our primary function. And that's why partisan politics shouldn't be involved in local government.
This is a dangerous question that I'm going to ask you because you're running for office.
Now it's warming up.
It's warming up.
You're running for office. You don't.
Does he know we call it the hot seat? Does he know that?
What? You want to tell me your opinion of the last night debate? You watch it?
I did.
You did.
I did, of course. My wife made me. She hates local politics, but she was just fascinated with this presidential race, which many of us are.
Yes.
Well, first and foremost, Rolando, I have never seen things reach the level they have at the presidential level, even some of the congressional offices. It just seems it's so negative. I mean, and all three debates, I was so much more interested in hearing what they were going to do, their platforms, their plans. Kind of boring for a debate, but I really wanted to hear that. And most of the noise throughout this entire campaign has been negative. What's wrong with the other person? Who the other person likes or dislikes? And very rarely could you sit back and say, oh,
But
I
Larry,
think that's a great idea.
don't you think that's the way it's always been? You're the only person that doesn't do that. I swear to God, he's the only person that, first of all, he doesn't have any dirt, so nobody can come out with any dirt. He is impeccable.
Okay.
But, I mean, remember Dario Herrera with, what was his name? John, what was the guy running the Republican? Oh God, he has some problem messing around with his best friend's wife.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
You know who was?
I do, but we're not going to mention it.
Oh, okay. I was going to, because he's a Republican, you know, and not only the Democrats have that kind of behavior, you know, but I mean, I've seen that since I can remember.
You know, and you bring up a good point. If you go back, and I love American history, especially American political history,
I do too.
there were nasty debates back in the 1800s.
Back then?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But they were with a town hall with maybe 500 people in. You take that same debate and you broadcast it worldwide. Media doesn't like to hear about good news and good plans and progressive. The media wants to hear about dirt. And I shouldn't say the media, not all media, but it just
The media created dirt. What are you talking about?
it just seems this campaign cycle has reached a level of absurdity where who can get lower, who can get dirtier, who can get meaner, seems to dominate so many of the races. And
you know, they
as bad
pay.
as it become, America and democracy is still the best thing out there. That someone taught me that.
And the good news is we only got 20 days to go.
The best quote I heard, and this is with all due respect to the national politics, the best quote I heard was, I think at a Rotary Club about a month ago, they said, you know, the good news about this presidential election, someone's going to lose. The bad news about this presidential election, someone's going to win. And certainly they were being a little bit facetious, but
Yeah.
I think people just wanted to get over.
Yes.
Over.
I never seen that being that important. Let's get it over with. Let's get it over with.
Whoever's elected will do a good job because one person does not take this country forward and one person does not drive this country back. There's too many stakeholders, too many players. They can influence it, but at the end of the day, our democratic society works. It's worked for 200 plus years now. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Good. That's a good idea. So, do you have an opposition in this race? Or?
I do. I have an opponent whose name we won't mention.
No.
No free publicity.
No, not at all. Did you bring the check?
I did. I did meet the gentleman, my opponent, at a candidates forum about 3 weeks ago. Nice gentleman. Had a nice civil conversation. There was no mudslinging, and it was just, hey, let's get out there, let the people decide, and that's the way it should be.
Is he in politics now, or he's brand new?
Who?
The other guy.
Who?
Larry, let me tell you, you know that the Las Vegas Tribune always have endorsed you. I personally don't believe in endorsements. I think it's a myth. It depends. Most of the small papers, if you advertise, they endorse you. The unions, they want to endorse you if they're going to control you. I don't believe, and half of the time, Larry, like I wrote it a couple of weeks ago, half of the time when the union members vote their own way without the worry about the union administrator. So just because they said endorsed by this union or that union doesn't mean that much. You know, to me, I don't think, I believe that we should, first of all, to be honest with you, I have a friend, or at least I used to have a friend, I don't know if he's still my friend or not, that believe that the party should be exterminated. Should be the person, not the party. And second, I believe that it should be just a fair process, not a fighting process or anything like that. You know, I believe that it should not be endorsements. You like, if I like you, I tell you, Larry, how can I do it? Can I walk one street one day? I can't walk too much anymore, but I mean, put a sign in my house if you live in my district. You know, to me, that shows more of your popularity or how good you are if the people trying to do something for you instead of than, I'm going to endorse Larry Brown. You know.
A yard sign is still, to me, one of the most powerful messages you can send.
Absolutely.
I think so. I believe so. But you're not in my district. I cannot do that.
You can get in my website if you need a yard sign.
That's true. That's true. You got plenty? You got plenty?
Sure, you bet.
Okay.
They're going out pretty quick now.
Okay. Well, what you need to do is, do you have a map of your district?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's on the website, yeah.
It is on the website, but can I take it out of the website?
I'll give you.
I'm not too good on.
I'll give you a paper copy. I happen to have one in my car.
Oh, really? Oh, what a coincidence!
And a yard sign.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm gonna have. Do you know how to do that?
No.
You don't know how to take us off?
No.
I guess I'm gonna have to do it because I don't see her anywhere. I saw her walking out. 5 minutes still? On them, I can afford another 5 minutes in this show. You know, John Estrada is going to charge me an arm and a leg for 5 minutes. You know. You want to say goodbye?
Yes. It was an honor having you here. And once again, you can give that website one more time before we go off.
That is www.larrybrown2016.com.
It was an honor having you here, and I learned a lot about the county commission, and I wish you good luck, and I hope that you
Thank you so
win the
much.
campaign.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us here at Radio Tribune. Rolando Relaz, my mentor, my boss. I'm Chris Garcia. Thanks for joining us. Call in at any time, and once again, if you have nothing to fear, then you will face the Tribune. God bless America, and God bless our troops. See you tomorrow.